Thank you. Yeah. Well, hi, everybody. Would you know joy? Do you know joy? Do you experience joy in your life every day? Do you know the difference between happiness and joy? Happiness is a state of mind. It's a short-term thing. It is not a long-term event. Happiness is a spike. Now, joy, on the other hand, is a state of being. It's a part of who you are. And it can become a habit for all of you. So, do you think that you guys experience joy on a daily basis? Do you? How about, I got a test for you. You ready? So, it's a yes or no. Just a couple questions. And you can count your score. So, first question. Do you wake up every morning eager to start your day?
Yes.
Okay, 1 point. Do the hours fly by while you do your work without noticing the time? Another point. Are your thoughts predominantly positive throughout the day? Not so much? Not so much? Okay, well, we aced the next question. Do you laugh at least once a day? So we got that. Here's my favorite one. Do you give love and receive love every day? Yes. Give yourself another point. Are you focused on the present rather than worrying about the future? Does your existence enrich somebody else today? Did you make a difference? Can you list 5 things to be grateful for every day? Do you fall asleep with deep peace, ready for another day? So how many got all 10? Less. It says, you are blessed. Go forth and bless others with your joyful wisdom. Who got 7 to 9? The world is a better place because you're in it. How about 4 to 6? Okay. Some days are diamonds and some days are stones. Try to hang around happy people. Joyful days are possible. Keep the faith. So, experiencing joy every day is a state of being. It's how you need to develop habits. So I'd like to tell you a story. Jack is his name, and he had some anger issues. And because of what was going on in his life and how he was handling it, he had to be removed from his family and enter a home where he could have therapy for anger management. And during this process, he is becoming more present focused instead of worrying about all these other things. And one night on his way home, he was able to work and then live at this home and have therapy every night. He had to stop at the grocery store. And he just needed like 4 or 5 things. But as he pulled into the parking lot, he noticed, wow, there are a lot of cars in this parking lot. And he's like, I can handle it. I can do this. So he gets in the grocery store and starts navigating the aisles, and he's thinking, maybe not. I'm getting frustrated. People aren't moving as fast as I'd like. And he gets his items, finally gets to get to the front of the store, to the grocery line, and sees the lines are so far backed up, it's going to be a half hour before he gets out of there. And as he's getting frustrated and thinking he's going to leave the store and just go home, he sees a cashier down at the end opening her lane and a woman with a baby and 1 gallon of milk. And he's like all excited. He's going to run down there and he is going to get in that lane. He'll be the second person and he'll be out of there in no time. And he gets his cart down there, and the cashier is reaching for the baby. Gonna hold the baby. Hugging the baby, kissing the baby, just talking to the baby. And this goes on for a couple minutes, and of course Jack is, smoke's coming out of his ears. And so he turns his back to the cashier, looking around the store at other things, which is one of the tools that he's learned in his anger management. And he just as he was about to turn around and snap, The cashier handed the baby back, completed the sale, and the woman left the store. And as Jack came up to the cashier, he opened his mouth to say something, and the cashier looked at him and said, "Thank you so much for being patient. My husband is serving overseas, and I have to work 2 jobs. So my mom brings in our son so I can say goodnight to him." Do you see how quickly your mindset can shift? How quickly, when we think of others, it can make a difference? There's a lot of enemies to joy, and one of them is thinking inward, thinking too much of ourselves instead of others. Enemies of joy are all over the place. They're those people who rain on your parade, pull out in front of you. They do all these things to steal your joy. But the thing is, you are the ones that have the power to let that go, to not be offended. You don't know if the person that pulled out in front of you, if they're trying to get to the hospital because a friend was in a car accident. So if you have the ability to make those changes, don't you think you have the ability to choose joy every day? Okay, so besides having enemies, there's a lot of tips that we have that can help you choose joy every day. And some of them are common sense, like getting enough sleep. Wouldn't you say when you get enough sleep, you wake up ready to face the day, you have great attitude, and things seem to go well for you? So something as little as getting some sleep can make a difference in your choosing joy every day. Another thing is having some mental habits, and those are the ones I just spoke about. Give people some grace. You don't know what the other person is going through. So if you can, you'll actually feel better when you give other people grace, because they might be struggling with something that you don't even want to have anything to do with, and you don't know what it is. Another thing is focus. When you're focused on inward things and all the things you have to do, it's difficult to have joy in your life. One of the things, an exercise that I always think of to help people understand focus is if I have a 50-foot, 12-inch wide board and it's across this room and I asked you to walk across it, you wouldn't have any problem walking across it, would you? But if I put that 50-foot board between 2 buildings that are 20 stories high, would you do it then? So think about it. If it's in the room, where is your focus? It's on the other end of the board. But now I put it above 20-story buildings, where does your focus go? It goes to the height that you're at. What if you put a baby on the other end of that? Does your focus stay on the board instead of how high you are? And what if we put your building on fire? Would you walk across that board to get away from the fire? Of course. So your focus of every day can have a huge effect on whether you choose joy. Another thing that you can do is, and gratitude is a big deal, but if you practice it, it can honestly change your life. There's so many things to be thankful for. My favorite thing to be thankful for is coffee and air conditioning. Those 2 things I love. I love coffee and air conditioning and heat, because we are here in Minnesota. So there's a lot of things that you can have gratitude for. The car you're driving. We're here in Minnesota. We're in America. There are so many things that we have to be grateful for. We're spoiled, and we don't even think about it. Our focus is always on what we don't have. So if you practice gratitude and just write that 1 or 2 things a day down, we all have either a pen and paper calendar, or we have a calendar on our phone. What if you every night at 8 o'clock had an alarm and put on your phone, if that's the way you do your calendar, what if you put on there just 1 thing you're grateful for? It would change your life. It honestly would. Your brain begins to think about all those things that you're grateful for. Another thing is the human connection, and that's my favorite thing. It's about the tribe, your people, being with optimistic people and people that support you. That is a big deal. If you live with or are around negative people, it drains your energy. It sucks the joy right out of you. So having people in your life where you can make a connection and feed your heart, joy just comes easily, and that's that state of being. Also, having a love relationship, I have some people in my life that when I just saw someone yesterday at an event, and she was coming up the stairs. I was leaving and going down the stairs. We hugged midway, and we're like, love you. That is a wonderful feeling, to be able to tell people in your life, I love you. Value the people that are in your life. That brings you so much joy as well. It isn't just friends or your family. There's a lot of things that you can enjoy. The barista at Starbucks or Caribou. Think of all the places you go during the day. Spread joy. It becomes, when you're spreading it, it comes right back on you. The more you speak it, the more it's in you. And also, random acts of kindness. I am a big proponent of expecting wonderful things to happen. I'm going to the grocery store, all the way there, I'm expecting a really good parking spot. I'm expecting a really good parking spot. And 9 times out of 10, I get a great parking spot. I actually have a friend who woke up one morning and it was spitting snow and kind of messy, but she had to get gas. And she was so disappointed because of the weather. And she pulled up at the pumps at Costco in Eden Prairie. And all the way there, she's like, oh, I wish I knew a full service pump. I wish I knew where there was a place somebody would pump my gas for me. And as she reached over to get into the passenger seat to get her credit card to pay for her gas, somebody knocked on her window. And it was a woman. And she said, may I pump your gas today? I'm performing 12 random acts of kindness. I do it once a month. And she was the lucky one. Could you imagine if you expected things like that to happen to you every day? Would it be easier to choose joy? Wouldn't it? So that human connection, random acts of kindness, loving others, that is just that's the easiest thing for us to do. That's the easiest habit for us to start developing joy in our life every day. So right now I want to challenge you. Just like in Jack's story, you were able to shift your mindset from understanding Jack's anger at that moment of having to navigate the busy store and people bumping into his cart. You were able to feel that anger, but then understand that cashier. It just shifted your mind. You guys have the power to do that every day in everything you do. So I challenge you to be more flexible in your mindset and choose joy every day. And tomorrow when you wake up, when you put out your feet on the floor, I challenge you to bounce them up and down. Be excited for the day. It's going to be great. Thank you.